Yesterday was supposed to be one of the best days of my life. Today, I feel like I've been living in a completely different reality for the past 2 years. My girlfriend, Elaine, and I have been together since 2022. We met at a barbecue through mutual friends, and I honestly thought I'd hit the jackpot. She was everything I thought I wanted. Smart, beautiful, from a good family. Her parents always seemed to like me, especially after they found out I work in tech and do pretty well. Maybe I should have paid more attention to that part. We moved in together last year, and everything felt perfect. She would talk about our future, about kids, about the house we'd buy. I was so ready to propose. I'd had the ring picked out for months. Her family kept dropping hints about when I was going to make it official. Her mom was almost more excited than Elaine sometimes, which I just thought was sweet. She even helped me plan the engagement party. Last night, I was at my buddy's place. We were having a few beers before the big day, just talking about marriage, life, the usual stuff. Then my phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. The message made my blood turn cold. "If you know what's good for you, call off tomorrow. Adrian's back." I just stared at that message for probably 5 minutes straight. Adrian. I knew that name. Elaine had mentioned him exactly once in 2 years. Her college boyfriend, who moved to London for a job. She told me it ended because of the distance, nothing more. But something about this message, it felt like a punch to the chest. I tried calling the number. It went straight to voicemail. No name, just the default robot recording. I drove home with my head just spinning. My hands were actually shaking on the steering wheel. Elaine was already asleep when I got in, so I just sat there in our living room at 2 in the morning, staring at that engagement ring box, trying to make any of it make sense. This morning, I couldn't pretend everything was normal. I showed Elaine the message. I asked her straight up, "Who's Adrian? And why would someone tell me to call off our engagement because he's back?" The look on her face. I have never seen someone go that pale, that fast. She started stammering, saying it didn't mean anything, that she chose me, that we were getting engaged today. But she wouldn't look me in the eye. And she never actually answered my question. I pressed harder. "Elaine, have you been in contact with Adrian? Did you know he was coming back?" That's when she finally broke down. It all came out. They've been texting for months. He got a job offer in Seattle, only about 3 hours from us. She said she didn't want to tell me because it didn't matter. But then she admitted it. She'd been confused about her feelings. She just kept insisting she wanted to marry me, that I was stable and reliable and everything she needed. Everything she needed. Not everything she wanted. Needed. I looked her right in the eye and I asked her point blank, if Adrian had never left, would we even be together right now? She couldn't answer. She just kept crying and saying it was complicated. So I made the decision right there. I told her I couldn't do it. I couldn't marry someone who saw me as a safe choice while her heart belonged to someone else. She begged me to reconsider. She swore she'd cut contact with Adrian completely, do anything to fix this. Real quick, if petty justice and stories about dodging a bullet are your thing, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what happens next. But here's the thing. I don't want to be someone's backup plan. I don't want to spend the rest of my life wondering if I'm just the guy she settled for when her first choice wasn't available. I want someone who chooses me first, not because I'm stable and reliable. The engagement party is supposed to be in 6 hours. 50 people are coming to celebrate what I thought was real love. Her family has been texting me all morning asking where I am, when I'm bringing their daughter over to get ready. I packed my stuff. I'm staying at my buddy's place. I just can't go through with this. But am I being too hasty? Am I throwing away something good because of jealousy? Part of me keeps thinking maybe I'm overreacting, that every couple has issues. But every time I look at that ring, I just hear her voice saying I was everything she needed, and I feel sick to my stomach. My original post got a huge response, and I just want to start by saying thank you. The overwhelming support helped me realize I wasn't crazy for walking away. A lot of you saw things I was too close to see, and I really needed that outside perspective. A lot of you also asked for more details, so I wanted to come back and give an update on what happened right after I posted. First off, I didn't go to the engagement party. Instead, I sent a group text to the family group chat. Yeah, I was in their family group chat. That should have been a red flag, explaining that Elaine and I had called things off. I said I was sorry for the late notice, but that people shouldn't come. The responses were illuminating. Her mom immediately called me. She was screaming about how I was ruining everything. How could I do this to poor Elaine? When I tried to explain that I'd found out about Adrian, she actually said, and I am quoting her directly. So what? You were going to marry her. That should be enough. That should be enough. Like I should feel grateful to be chosen as the consolation prize. Her dad was more direct. He called me later that night, drunk, slurring his words, saying I was throwing away the best thing that ever happened to me and that I'd never find someone as good as his daughter. Then he got nasty, saying I was probably just scared of commitment, not man enough to handle a real woman. But here's the kicker. In the middle of his rant, he let something slip. He yelled, "Do you know how much money I've put into this relationship? The engagement party cost me $3,000 I didn't have. $3,000 he didn't have." That's when I realized this wasn't just about Elaine settling for me. Her whole family saw me as their financial escape plan. I started thinking back over the past 2 years, and suddenly so many things made sense. Her mom was always asking about my work bonuses and my next promotion. Her dad's sudden friendliness started right after he learned I was making 6 figures, like a switch had been flipped. Every time I visited, they'd want to go to these expensive restaurants, and somehow the check always ended up in front of me. I even helped her dad with a $2,000 car repair 6 months ago. Helped with her mom's medical bills. I thought I was being a good boyfriend, but now I see I was just being used. Elaine hasn't stopped trying to contact me. She sent maybe 30 texts since Sunday, swinging between begging me to reconsider and being furious that I'm throwing away what we had over nothing. As if finding out your partner sees you as a backup plan is nothing. The one that really got to me was, I made one mistake and you're ready to throw away 2 years. One mistake. As if 2 years of lying about her feelings and planning to use me for financial security was just a simple oops. But then yesterday, I got a call from the person who sent me that warning text. Her name is Rowan, Elaine's college roommate. She asked if we could meet for coffee. Said there were things I needed to know. What she told me made everything so much worse. According to Rowan, Elaine never got over Adrian. The only reason she even started dating me was because he started dating someone else in London. Rowan told me Elaine's exact words to her were, "He's not Adrian, but he's sweet and stable. Maybe it's time to be practical." Practical. I was the practical choice. It gets worse. Adrian reached out to Elaine about 8 months ago, right around the time she started talking about getting engaged. She told Rowan she needed to secure things with me before Adrian came back and confused her again. The engagement wasn't about love. It was a strategy. It was about locking me down before her first choice became available again. Rowan said she couldn't stay quiet anymore. She told me, "You deserve to be someone's first choice, not their safety net." That night, Adrian himself texted me. Seriously. Elaine gave him my number and asked him to smooth things over. His message said, "Hey man, I heard about what happened. Evie and I have history, but she chose you. Don't throw away a good thing because of some ancient history." This guy, who doesn't even know me, was telling me I was lucky. The audacity was breathtaking. I didn't respond. I'm just trying to figure out how to get my name off the lease we signed. It still hurts like hell. I really wasn't going to post another update, but the last 2 weeks have been absolutely insane, and I need to vent to people who understand what's happening. So quick catch-up. I called off my engagement when I found out I was my fiancée's backup plan, and her broke family saw me as their financial savior. I moved out. We're done. But apparently they're not done with me. Elaine's family has completely lost their minds. I'm talking next-level crazy behavior that's making me consider legal action. Her mom has called my work 3 times trying to get me fired. She told HR I was unstable and had threatened her family. Luckily, my boss knows me well enough to see through the lies, but I still had to have an uncomfortable conversation. Her dad has been showing up at my gym and my grocery store. He doesn't approach me, but he's always there, just glaring at me. It's getting really creepy. But the worst is Elaine herself. She's created fake Instagram accounts to get around me blocking her. She's been messaging my friends, my coworkers, even my sister, telling them I'm having a mental breakdown. My sister, bless her, told Elaine exactly where she could shove her concern. Yesterday, Elaine showed up at my new apartment. I have no idea how she got my address. She was there at 11 p.m., sobbing in the hallway, begging me to let her explain. I didn't open the door. She sat in that hallway for 2 hours, crying and occasionally pounding on my door. My neighbors complained and building security finally had to escort her out. This morning, I'm getting emails from her lawyer about defamation and harassment. Remember how I mentioned her family's financial problems? Turns out it's worse than I thought. Rowan called me yesterday with more info. Elaine's dad's construction business is basically bankrupt. He owes money all over town. Her mom told people they were counting on my financial support after the wedding to keep them afloat. But here's the kicker. Elaine knew all of this. She was planning to ask me to co-sign a business loan for her dad on our honeymoon. She was going to trap me with marriage and then hit me up for tens of thousands of dollars. And Adrian is still very much in the picture. I found out he and Elaine have been seen together multiple times since our breakup. Coffee dates, dinner, the whole thing. He's apparently telling people he never meant to cause problems, but that he and Elaine have an undeniable connection, and fate brought them back together. Fate, like my 2-year relationship, was just an inconvenient obstacle. One of my friends overheard them at a restaurant. Elaine was crying about how I couldn't forgive one mistake. Adrian's response was, his loss, babe. You deserve someone who appreciates what they have. The irony would be hilarious if it wasn't so pathetic. I wasn't planning to post again, but I've gotten so many messages asking for an update that I figured I owed you all one final chapter. Plus, the ending is better than I could have imagined. It's been 3 months since I walked away. Let me start with the legal stuff. The harassment from Elaine and her family got so bad that I had to involve law enforcement. My lawyer helped me file restraining orders against all of them. The judge took one look at the dozens of texts, the emails, the security footage of her outside my apartment, and granted them immediately. Elaine violated hers within a week by showing up at my gym. She spent a night in jail and now has to attend court-ordered therapy. Her dad violated his by confronting me at a gas station. He got 30 days of community service. Since then, blissful silence. Now for the good part. Remember how Elaine and Adrian were supposedly destined soulmates? Yeah, that lasted exactly 6 weeks. Turns out when you build someone up in your mind for years, reality can be pretty disappointing. He was pretentious and self-absorbed. She had built him up as her perfect rescue, and when he turned out to be just another flawed human, she couldn't handle it. The breakup was spectacular. A public screaming match at a restaurant, thrown drinks, the whole 9 yards. Without me as their financial safety net, Elaine's family situation collapsed completely. Her dad's business went under. The bank foreclosed on their house. But wait, it gets worse. Elaine's mom, desperate to maintain their lifestyle, started pressuring her to find another financially stable man. And fast. Within 2 months of Adrian dumping her, Elaine was engaged again. To a 52-year-old divorced businessman named Robert, who owns several car dealerships. It was a transaction disguised as a romance. The wedding is next month. While they were imploding, I've been rebuilding. And honestly, I've never been happier. I took that promotion and moved to Denver. The job is challenging, and I'm making 30% more. I got that dog I mentioned, a rescue named Bear, who's my best friend. We explore new trails every weekend. I've been dating, but casually. Last month, I met someone. Her name is Sarah. When I told her about my job, she said, "That's nice," and asked about my hobbies. It's been so refreshing to interact with someone who sees me as a person, not a provider. We're taking things slow, but for the first in years, I feel like I'm being chosen, not settled for. Looking back, the biggest lesson is understanding the difference between love and need. Someone who loves you will want to be with you even if you lost everything tomorrow. Someone who needs you will leave the moment you're no longer useful. I used to think walking away from that engagement was the hardest thing I'd ever done. Now I realize it was the best decision I've ever made. Elaine didn't love me. She loved the idea of security I represented. Her family didn't welcome me. They welcomed my bank account. Real love doesn't make you second choice. What's the biggest difference between being wanted and being needed in a relationship? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more of the best stories from Reddit.